Welcome back to the 12-Sided Guys. We have Matt as Pine.
Hi.
Scott as Joph.
That's me.
Jordan as Ebby.
Salutations.
Sabrina as Nari.
Hey there.
And me, Paul, as the guy that got stung in the throat by a bee 2 days ago. That's not a joke.
Ooh, you poor guy.
Oh, no.
Just rough. Oh my gosh.
Thanks for being little honeys and making us a part of your commute, workout, etc. If you want to keep up with the latest buzz about the 12-Sided Guys, go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/12sided guys. That's 12sided guys. It's been a hive of activity over there, keeping the wiki and maps up to date, and there are bonus episodes on there as well. Also, it would be great if you could leave us a review and a rating over on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, if your favorite location in Midgar was the Honeybee Inn, then you're like me, and this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex, episode 32.
Man, you're really taking it like a champ.
You waxed a little long on that intro.
Oh, actually, this is one of my shorter ones. Anyway, so yes, I did get stung in the throat a couple of days ago, and for whatever reason, it is still just killing me.
Were you pulling a Hank Hill and just really going over your lawn or something? Or
No, we were trying to bury a dead chicken.
One of your chickens died.
One of our chickens died.
That's too bad.
Arnium Celadar, Royal Geomancer. How I wish you and I could sit face to face, discuss the nature of crystals and their link to the world and divinity. Perhaps even have you explain the purpose of us, the Ormex, how we fit into the vast existential struggles of the lords and ladies. Did we research this all together? Who was I back then? Did I have a name? A family? It does no good to dwell on things that are long since past, and yet I cannot help but feel that there is some important truth buried in the deep recesses of my mind, in the annals of our shared existence. You made me, I believe. But to what end, I do not yet know. But I suspect that our role in this is not yet finished. Our purpose is yet unfulfilled. I know I cannot do this alone. Arnium, you must help me know what keeps them asleep. Somehow in these pages, or others, there must be a clue to unlock this. Being in Arkelvy has been interesting for me. I am confronted by new and strange customs and peoples, and always I am filled with some dread at being found out and captured. And tonight, the stakes feel high. We recently reconnected with the remaining members of the Rose Syndicate. After narrowly evading capture and receiving healing, we began to make preparations to confront the traitor, Alia Brava. Our plans take us into the heart of society, but tonight I hide behind no wrap or cover. Tonight I shall hide in plain sight as a deacon, as a slave to the elite of the Empire. The Empire appears to have done a superlative job at appropriating our people for their purposes. First, we encountered them as soldiers, and I witnessed in shock and revulsion as they turned our bodies into fiery weapons. Those that made an ultimate sacrifice, interring their very souls into the crystalline matrices within, now desecrated and obliterated from existence, no more than dust and ash. And now I see my brothers and sisters relegated to the most mundane of tasks and affairs. I suppose I should feel grateful that they haven't further weaponized these Ormex, but I find my gratitude lacking. These charlatans and malefactors sow seeds of their own destruction, unwittingly, but inexorable. They flaunt their ill-gotten possessions, ignorant to the atrocities they perpetuate with their actions, but they are playing with fire, and I will see them burn.
Whoa. Awesome. Wow. Abby. A little warm in here.
Still waters run deep, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That's great.
I think he's going through an emo phase.
Whatever. You're not my dad. Nobody understands me.
Oh, all right, guys. So today is the day of the caper at Eberly Manor. I don't know how else to put it. Before we jump right in, was there anything else that was not accomplished in the last 2 sessions? Anything short and sweet that you wanted to do before we go undercover and get this caper started?
Pine had some things, just 3 things, and we don't have to role play them. I can just tell you what they were.
Cool.
First, Pine wanted to purchase some studded leather armor to wear underneath his costume, try to conceal it. I don't think that his normal armor would fit underneath this costume and not look weird.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Second, he would like to buy a military saddle to take with him when they leave so that he can have a nice saddle for Crumbles.
Perfect.
And third, question for you, Paul. Would it be out of place for a gentleman of high stature to wear a sword to this party?
No, it would not be. Although, like a sword, like a gentleman's sword is fine. As far as I'm going to say it now and I'm going to instantly regret it. But like a great axe on your back or something like that would not be appropriate. But like a gentleman's weapon, I'm just saying, like a rapier or a saber or even a longsword and dagger, that kind of thing. That would be fine. But you wouldn't go walking in with a spear or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, well, the third thing that I'll do then is I will spend time sharpening and thoroughly cleaning and shining up my sword.
Okay. Perfect. It looks like your military saddle is going to cost you 20 gold pieces, and then your studded leather armor is going to cost you 45.
Great, thank you.
No problem. All right. Anybody else?
Joph wanted to paint a skeleton on Abby.
Nice.
We got to be festive, you know? I'm thinking like Karate Kid style too, like just like a really corny one, like all across him. With your permission, Abby.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'm picturing like a Dia de los Muertos kind of thing. But
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking like, is it Coco? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Abby's going to show up in the party and be like, "Arrah! Let's do this."
All right. Very cool. Yeah. Is there anything Nari wants to do?
I think the only thing Nari would want to do is I just kind of coordinate with Sir Bordemus.
Yeah.
And make sure that we're just all good to go on the escape. But I think we've already kind of covered that. So
Yeah. You have. And that's
I guess I won't bring my great axe, but I will have like my hand axes on me.
You're not going into the party.
Right.
Yeah. So you with the great axe is fine. Because you're not going into the party, specifically a party where the governor is there and there's other like highfalutin people. Wearing a sword would be okay, but yeah, that's a different story. All right, and then Abby, anything that Abby wants to do?
Sorry, you can cut this. I had a mouthful of chips.
Microchips? Wah, wah.
Oh, no. Now we have to keep it.
Oh, jeez.
No, I think Ebby is pretty much ready to go. You know, I mean, he's just going naked, so it's going to be a little bit weird. He's going to be, I mean, he's not even wearing a shirt. He's not even like Winnie the Pooh in it. So
is he going to have his half plate built into him like it says in the player's handbook that they can? Or are you going like armor off and everything?
Oh, I think I probably would keep that half plate.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy, so.
Okay.
Yeah, not that it's done me any good, but I'll wear it.
Exactly. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and jump right in. A couple things before the party gets started. Bordemus and Nari, I believe you guys had planned on having like a wagon available somewhere nearby, like at the park or something nearby the manor. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, he said he would be able to get someone to be a getaway car.
Perfect. So the getaway driver is Sir Bordemus, okay? Just to the east of Eberly Manor is where Eberly Park is. Bortimus shows up with a carriage. It's not a fancy carriage. It's very mundane, but it is completely enclosed. So it has little windows on the doors, but you can pull little curtains to keep it closed and to keep prying eyes out. He shows up with that carriage. Nari, you and Bortimus, I guess, are going to be hanging out there at the carriage. One thing I wanted to point out is that when he pulls up with the carriage, Thylo, the blue-skinned water genasi fella, is there with him. And you notice as he kind of gets ready, he is dressed like a servant. He has like a little bit of a costume on as well, but it definitely does not look as rich or fancy as your guys's does. But he keeps looking up at the manor and down at the wagon, and up at the manor and down at the wagon, and he keeps like almost talking to himself. And you assume he's like making calculations about if he has to make that jump, if he can make it to the wagon or where he needs to be at in the manor in order to make that leap through his kind of mystical water portal that he's got. Other than that, Pine, Ebby, Joph, and Thylo, you guys are ready to go to the party.
One thing real quick, I have to, before we separate, I have to be able to see the people for the spirit messenger to know who to go to.
Perfect. And then how far does the spirit messenger work?
It says as long as you're within 1 mile.
1 mile. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
How big is this manor?
This manor is not a mile wide. In fact, if you were to, easy, from where the carriage is parked, the complete opposite end of the manor is still well within a mile.
Okay.
And you have to roll as well, right, to see how many people?
So I get 3 people.
Okay.
I can choose up to 3 people I can see, and then it works for 1d8 hours.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a d8 and got a 6. So we've got my spirit messenger can relay messages between us for 6 hours.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wait, does this mean we finally get to talk to Squire?
You get to talk through him.
Through him.
Oh.
He's like the switchboard operator in the
I'm
50s.
so excited to meet him.
He's all, oh gosh, he's like, go ahead. So Joph, you catch just a quick glimpse of Squire as you are kind of setting this whole thing up. And he kind of lets out a big, and then he pulls out this big quill and this big, huge scroll of paper. And he's like ready to write. And then he disappears from sight. So, yes, other than that, Thylo is standing around. You guys are kind of out at the carriage right now. Bortimus is sitting. He's wearing also like a costume, but you can tell his is also just kind of more of a cloak than anything. And every once in a while you can see him move, and he's got his armor on underneath the cloak. But he's sitting up in the driver's seat of the carriage, just kind of trying to look relaxed. And Thylo walks up to Pine and Ebby and Joph, and he nods and says, I think I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Well, then let's not wait any longer. Thylo and I will go in first. I don't think we should go in all at the same time.
I am at your command, Master Joph. Beep, boop, wolves.
Now, a quick, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm nervous about this.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm gonna give you a little hint because I'm a benevolent DM. You did not say your name was Joph when you got your invitation.
Yes.
Just a heads up. Just a quick reminder. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure that everyone's aware of that. Okay.
I was super creative with my names.
Yeah, exactly.
I just took the 2 people that are from my backstory.
Oh, that's great. All right. So Pine, you start to head towards the gatehouse of the manor. Thylo walking a few steps behind you. His eyes are downcast. As you approach the manor, it's nighttime now. The sun has gone down. You can hear like music and drums in the streets. You can see people kind of not running back and forth, but there's definitely like a fun atmosphere in the air. It is drizzling, but people don't seem to care. They are, talking with each other. There's lots of people drinking in the streets. You see people walking into other people's houses. There's a kind of like just this almost like a neighborhood party type of a feel. And Pine, you and Thilo approach the gatehouse for Eberly Manor. You can see the gatehouse is pretty wide. It's wide enough for at least 2 wagons to go through side by side. And on either side of the opening, you see 2. All I could say is that soldiers, two men. One of them is short, wearing like full plate armor, and he's got a sword and he's got a shield, and he just kind of is standing off to the left. And on the right side, there is another man. He has a dark brown skin. He's got a big, thick black beard. He is not dressed in the Almerian style at all. He actually looks like he's dressed for a much warmer climate, but the cold weather and the rain doesn't seem to be bothering him right now. He is wearing just kind of clothing with no armor or anything, but he does have a very large maul sitting next to him. And as you two approach, the short man, the probably 4 foot tall man with the beard and the full plate armor, he walks up to you, Pine, and he says, "Yes, may I see your invitation, please?"
Really quick, before we got here, Pine would have handed the invitation actually to Thilo.
Okay.
And he would have said, "For tonight, I'm calling you Michael." And then so when we get to this point, Pine will say to Thilo, "Michael, the invitation, please."
Yeah, Thilo kind of reaches into his pouch. He kind of looks at the invitation and he hands it over real quick, and then looks down at the ground, trying to look subservient, but also looking just a little bit nervous. The man in the plate armor takes it and he looks at it, looks it over for a little bit, and then he nods and hands it back to you. And he says, "Welcome to Eberly Manor. I hope you enjoy the festivities." And he kind of motions you through.
"Well, thank you. Come, Michael. Don't dawdle."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And you guys head up the walkway into the courtyard of Eberly Manor. When you get into the courtyard, you can see that there is there's like a fountain in the middle, and you can see that there are actually carriages have come in and they've kind of pulled around. It's like a little roundabout. So the carriages will pull in, and then people will step out of the carriages, and the carriages will pull back out and leave. But you two are walking in, and you can see that there are, as you enter this courtyard, it's quite large, but there's entrances to the building on all 4 sides. So straight ahead, there is double doors that are guarded by 2 guards. And then over to the right, on the east side of the courtyard, there are 2 more guards and 2 more double doors. On the left west side, there are 2 more guards and 2 more double doors. And then on the south side, there's just a small single door with no guard. But you see, as people are getting in and out of their carriages, they all seem to be going into the north double door at the far side of the courtyard.
Yeah, so then Pine will just continue walking up to the north doors.
Yeah, you see all kinds of people getting in and out of these carriages. You see rich, what must be merchants. You see people obviously from out of town. You see a lot of servants. You even do see a couple of servant deacons, holding doors open of carriages, that kind of thing. And as you guys head north into the double doors on the north end of the courtyard, the doors open up into this elaborate hall. What you can only assume is the kind of the Great Hall of Eberly Manor. You can see that the people, as they walk into this Great Hall, there is double doors on the right that they keep. People are filtering into that direction, and then to the left, which is where actually the long Great Hall would be, with thrones and sitting areas. That's actually blocked off by soldiers, so you're not allowed to go that way. But as you go into this portion of Eberly Manor, and this double door here to the right on the western wall, as people go through it, the doors open, and you can hear now music comes kind of wafting out of the room. You can hear laughter and lots of talking, and here the 2 people who are guarding this door. They must be twins. You see these 2 female, red-haired, tall women wearing like leather armor. They've got scimitars at their waist. They're the ones who are protecting this entryway into what must be the ballroom. So do you guys just follow the crowd?
Yeah, just follow the crowd.
All right. As you enter into these double doors, you enter into a very large ballroom. Pine, you have been in some fancy places before, just in your capacity as a lieutenant general. This is a very large, very spacious ballroom. And it's interesting because there is no seating except for along the sides. Everything is open. There is people just milling about. You can see that up above there's actually like a balcony that goes all the way around, and at the far end, so on the far eastern wall of the ballroom on the second floor, you can see some musicians are playing music, and you recognize Pender. You also recognize the pointed-eared man who was playing kind of the lute guitar type thing. And then you see the large woman with the drum and the tambourine. And they're just playing some kind of background music right now. But as you walk in, you see all kinds of people milling about, just talking. Some people are dancing in the middle of the ballroom. Why don't you go ahead and make a quick perception check as you scan the room?
Pine rolled a 9.
Okay. It's hard to pick out people, like particular people, just because it's so crowded. So at this point, you don't see anybody that you recognize, except for there is one person you're fairly certain that you know who it is. There is, amongst all these very rich, elaborately dressed people in their fine costumes, there is one man who stands 7.5 feet tall, wearing scale mail that is blue, with a helmet on his head with big horns and a great axe strapped to his back. So you remember when I said that this is not the kind of place that people would take a great axe? Well, this guy did. And you are fairly certain, Pine, that this must be Adjudicator Ulrich.
This guy makes the laws so he can break the rules.
You're exactly right. All right. So now, Pine, you are here in the party. Let's jump back outside.
Really, really quick. So I can say messages to anybody in the party at this point, or does it have to come through Joph?
You can talk to Squire, and he will relay the message to whoever in the group you want.
So Pine will say under his breath, "I don't quite know how this works, but it looks like, in case you were wondering, Pender wasn't able to find the last member of his band. That's all."
Oh gosh, that's funny. Okay, back outside, Joph, you get that message. Apparently, Pender is in there.
I'll try not to get too distracted from our task at hand. Abby, come along.
Affirmative, master.
Oh man, this is great. All right. Yeah, so you approach, and it's a very similar situation of getting into the ballroom. So, Joph, you are outside. You are confronted by the short man in the plate armor with the beard, and then there's also the other man with the dark brown skin and the dark beard off to the side with the maul. You show him your invitation. He says, "Welcome, Mr. Simon," and then he lets you in. And as you follow the path of partygoers, it takes you north into the courtyard. You follow north through those next double doors into the Great Hall, and then off to the right into the ballroom. Joph and Ebby, you two are now in the ballroom as well.
Okay.
Oh, and then one thing I forgot to tell you, Pine, when you came in, you can see along the wall that a lot of the servants that people bring with them are just standing along the wall, trying to stay out of the way, but keeping an eye for their master, in case they're needed. So Thylo kind of looks around the room. He kind of looks at you a little bit panicked, and then he just goes and stands over along the wall, kind of to the south.
Pine will give him a subtle thumbs up.
Awesome. All right. So Joph and Ebby, as you guys come in, why don't you guys make perception checks as well to see what you can see?
Oh, Oakley dokley.
Joph got a 22.
Ebby got a 13.
A 13. Okay. Yeah, Ebby, as you're looking around, you see a lot of like probably 5 or 6 different deacons. They're all kind of standing to the side. There's a couple of people out there like in the dance floor who have their deacon right next to them, but most of the deacons are standing kind of off to the side. They look like you would look if you didn't have any of your armor on. You know what I mean? They look kind of thin, very basic, but also very shiny, very polished, very cleaned up.
I think I forgot to polish up myself.
It's all right. You look way cooler than all of these other guys with that skeleton.
Oh. Flattery will get you everywhere, Simon. Simon says I look very good tonight. So.
This is true. Simon did say.
People are going to start wondering why there's this sassy deacon out here. He's all like, oh, yeah, sassy.
Sassy deacon. I think Ebby's just going to kind of take a cue from these deacons that are kind of hovering near their respective owner, and I'm just going to stay near Joph, wherever Joph goes.
Cool. Yeah, and as you guys entered, I forgot to mention this too, that, you know, it's an open room. I said there's no tables, but there's actually 2 big banquet tables kind of right there at the beginning, but it's all food that you're supposed to just get and then take it with you, like as you mingle. And then there are servants running around, like grabbing plates and cups from people as they're finishing with their food, so that the people who are here, who are enjoying the party, don't have to stop their revelry to go and take care of their dishes. But Joph, you got a much better roll of perception. As you walk in and you take a quick glance around the party, you instantly spot Pine, and you spot Philo standing along the wall. But you also spot a couple other people. You see the guy who must be Adjudicator Ulrich, with his big horned helmet and his great axe on his back. You also see next to him the person that you saw who Pine went and talked to, Pine's son. You see that Pine's son, Temrid Jr., is here. He is staying close to Adjudicator Ulrich. You also see an older woman with short, kind of white hair. She is dressed nicely, but with your perception of 22, you can instantly tell kind of a military bearing on her. And then you see she is talking to an older gentleman who is dressed very nice, who has literally a guard like 5 feet behind him. And you are fairly certain if he's not the governor, then he is somebody else who is very, very important. And then there's a couple other people that you see here, but one other person you do see kind of off to the south in this ballroom, you do see Aaliyah Brava. And she is talking with a woman that you recognize as well. It is, I don't know if you remember, her name was Sonara, and she's the one who gave you the pass to get into the party. She is, she's got dark hair. She's wearing like a long black dress. She's got like a very large kind of witch's hat on her head. And the only thing that she has to decorate herself for the Gadaver's March is she has like a white skull painted on her face. Kind of a Baron Samedi look from Live and Let Die.
Okay. I love it.
Wait, so the witch's hat isn't enough of a costume? They're hardcore here.
No, witches are not dead. The lady wears a witch's hat all the time.
Oh, she's one of those.
Well, when she came out and gave Joph his ticket to get in, she was wearing the big hat.
It's a fashion statement.
Exactly right.
Joph will mumble to Ebby, I'm going to head over there and wait. We were going to poison the stuff first.
You're going to poison the food, yes.
I believe last time we talked, we said don't poison the hors d'oeuvres, wait till like the main course.
Yes, that's right. And it's the hors d'oeuvres right now, right?
Oh, yeah. This is like little finger foods and stuff, little finger sandwiches and ham rolls with cream cheese inside, bacon wrapped around water chestnuts, that kind of thing.
Ooh, okay.
Although, question, Paul, noticing that there's no other tables in here, would we like retire to another room potentially to eat a meal? Or am I now that we're here, is it safe to assume it's all finger foods all the time?
That's a possibility. As far as the finger foods, because unless they're going to bring out a bunch of tables or something, that's also a possibility. There's a lot of people in here though, and so yeah, I mean, you can ask somebody.
I'm going to mutter under my breath to Squire to have him relay it to everybody else. I have another idea. If I can get into conversation with Aaliyah and have a servant, Ebby, bring us drinks that are poisoned, then we can do it discreetly that way instead of directly involving everyone.
That works for me.
It would incapacitate her, but it would definitely not cause any kind of distraction at the party.
That's true.
I may be able to handle a distraction at some point. It might be better to get her out of this open area, though, before we try to act on her.
What do you think, Nari?
I'm just a little bit worried about her being suspicious. I'd just be careful about offering her a drink just in general. She's pretty sharp.
As you guys are talking about Aaliyah Bravo, you can see that she's kind of going around from person to person, and she'll talk to them. And every time she's talking to a man, you see she's a little bit more like touching. She'll put her hand on their shoulder and hold it there just a little bit longer than is normal. She laughs at all the jokes.
So Pine will go to the table because there's free food there, and we haven't poisoned it yet.
That's right.
So Pine will make some of those bacon-wrapped water chestnuts.
All right.
Put it on a plate, and then he's going to go try to start mingling. I have a question, though, Paul.
Yes.
Pine has an accent. Is that right?
I'm assuming Pine has a Menorese accent, yes.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. Okay, so Pine will go start trying to mingle, not with Aaliyah Brava right away.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of wandering around and introducing himself to just random people, like, this is a good party. I like the music's great. You having a good time?
You wander over, and it's kind of funny because I'm just going to play off of what you did with your token in our virtual tabletop. You literally wandered over to the jester.
I couldn't see.
As you wander around with your plate of food, you're like, oh yeah, how do you like these water chestnuts, right? You got to remember, you are dressed like a fancy old bird bones guy, right? And this woman she's very thin. She's got like the jester's cap on, and her face is she's got the motley makeup on her face, and I guess she's also not dressed up for Gadaver's march. She is dressed in just like motley. Why don't you make a quick either insight or perception check, Pine, as you go to talk to her?
Okay, Pine rolled a 6. I think she's flirting with me.
You keep waiting for her to start juggling or something, right? And so as you kind of walk up to her and you start mingling, she let's see. She says, "Oh, nice choice. An old buzzard."
How could you tell I was old? I'm wearing a mask.
And then she kind of reaches over and kind of kicks your cane a little bit.
Oh, it's cosmetic. It makes me look fly as hell.
Well, I can tell by your voice that I was not wrong.
You having a good time?
And she says,
So you come here often?
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, oh, I always have a good time everywhere I go. Yes. And then somebody else walks by, and then she has a really quick, witty thing to say at their expense that I am not quick enough to come up with off the top of my head.
Pine will move along.
Okay. What's Joph doing?
Joph is mingling as well, trying not to focus too much on Aaliyah and just kind of distracted by the adjudicator, maybe. But there's dancing, right?
Oh yeah, there's definitely dancing.
So he's kind of in the middle of the dance floor, kind of dancing, and just like watching everything happen around him.
Okay.
Ebby is just standing like a statue behind him while he dances.
It's like the electric slide, and you kind of move back out of the way as they kind of slide from place to place, but you just don't join in the dance.
Just trying to stare straight forward.
Are you like keeping exact same distance from Joph as he does the electric slide, just moving back and forth, but not doing any fancy moves?
Oh gosh,
I think that's probably true. Actually, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Let's see, Joph, why don't you make a performance check to see how well you are at dancing?
Hey, it's +0, and I got a 17.
Well, congratulations.
Nice.
Congratulations. You pick up on the boot scoot and boogie pretty easily. Very good. Yeah, so you're dancing.
I was going to say stomp, stomp, kick, kick, ball change, stomp, kick, kick.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Was that 7th or 8th grade?
7th and 8th grade PE. Thank you for making us learn line dancing and square dancing.
Yes, we did have to do that.
I thought we were doing the monster mash.
That's
Cha
not
cha,
yet.
real smooth.
All right. Okay. As you guys are enjoying these festivities, Nari, you are sitting out in the carriage with Mortimer. Oh no, I can't even say his name right.
Bortimus.
You're sitting out in the carriage with Bortimus.
I believe it's pronounced Zanzibar.
Yes, that one did come up as well. All right, so Bortimus is sitting on the seat of the carriage. What are you doing, Nari?
I mean, I think originally I'd kind of be casually chatting with him, and then just sort of watching the people around me. As long as nobody is stopping to notice us, I wouldn't mind staying, kind of in sight and just chilling. Unless if I notice somebody kind of watching us.
Right. Okay. Make a perception check.
26.
You see a lot of people going by. You see people actually going into the park, like holding hands. You actually hear music coming from inside the park as well. It doesn't seem like anyone is paying any extra attention to you. Your carriage is actually parked kind of along the side of the road, right next to the park, where there's actually some other carriages parked there as well. It seems like some of the people who were brought to the party here at the manor in carriages, this is where they've kind of parked their carriages.
Awesome. So yeah, I'd probably just kind of want to stay a little bit in the shadows. I mean, I'm wearing all black, so it should be easy enough to do. Just kind of keeping an eye out. And I would like to ask Sir Bortimus if our mutual wafer friend is still safe.
Oh, no. He says, yes, she's safe. She really wanted to be a part of this, but I don't think this is the place for her. I think once we wrap things up tonight, then she can be more bold in her movements.
I absolutely agree. I'm happy you're keeping her safe. That's good to hear.
Perfect. Okay, Ebby, I realize there's one thing that I forgot to have you do. Actually, I don't even I don't even need you to make a roll. When you came into the manor today, and you saw the dark-skinned man with the dark beard, and you saw the short man with the full plate, you recognized the man in the full plate. Going back a few episodes, when you were down in the chamber of the Wilted Rose, and the door opened, and you saw Aaliyah Brava's mercenaries for a short second, there was one man who was standing there, and he kept kind of tapping his chest every few seconds. I don't know if you remember that description, but that is the man in the full plate standing at the entrance to the manor.
Okay, alrighty then.
So I forgot that. You did recognize him, but you look completely different now than you did that night, so you don't think he recognized you.
Good. Well, that's good.
All right. As you guys are kind of dancing there in the party, there is a man who is an older gentleman. He's wearing a long black robe. It's got like some gold accents. You can see on hanging from his neck, he's got this big pendant on, and it is actually a hand with two wings, one on either side. It is the symbol of Iramil. This guy appears to be some kind of a
priest of Iramil. Thanks a lot.
This is a priest of Iramil. Anyway, he kind of has this staff in his hand, and on the tip of the staff, it also has that same symbol, the hand with the wings. And he pounds it on the ground 3 times, and the music just stops, and everyone stops talking. And he raises his voice for everyone to hear. It's kind of hard to hear anyway because he is an older man and his voice is faltering a little bit. But he does say, "Welcome to this party. In memory of the March of Gadaver, may we all remember to keep Iramil at the center of our thoughts. His light should shine and guide all of us this evening."
As soon as he finishes, Pine will go, Amen. Praise Aramil.
Yeah, he's trying to bring it back. Aramil, if you guys recall, any type of celebration, Aramil has to be above. So even at the temples for other deities here in town, there is always a symbol of Aramil above the symbol of that deity. And so he is just kind of reminding everyone that Aramil is the patron deity of the empire, and don't you forget it. All right.
Boo.
Servants keep coming in and out of the southern door. In the ballroom, you guys came in through a double door that was on the western wall, and on the southern wall, there's another double door, and you can see that servants keep coming in and out of there, bringing more and more food to replenish the food that gets taken from those two tables that are in the ballroom. Also, there are staircases that go up to the second floor balcony. So if anyone wants to go to the second floor, that is also an option. But let's see. Nari, you are still sitting out there, maybe getting a little bit anxious. And suddenly, Nari, in your brain, only you can hear this. You hear this. Nari, a warning. Something big is happening tonight. An opportunity to kill Governor Tenor. It should bring down the house. Stay away from Eberly Manor. And that was Kira's voice. You heard her voice come through your sending stone.
Okay, I will respond to that. And I will say the boys are at Eberly Manor at the moment. Are they in danger? And I think that's it. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And now you know that because she sent the message, she can't send another one until tomorrow. So you would have to send another message to her so she can respond. Yeah.
I'd have to send it to her.
And use up your last charge.
Okay.
Or your only charge.
I think I will do that because that seems pretty important. So I will send a message again saying, is there anything we can do to assist in this endeavor? We are currently working to mitigate the issue that is Aaliyah Brava, and that is why everyone else is in Eberly Manor tonight.
You get a response back from Kira, and it says, they are inside now? They must get out. A new cell I just became aware of has been planning something for months. It happens tonight. And it ends there.
Okay, so I will talk to Squire, and through Squire, I will tell the boys basically that that I've been talking to Kira, and it sounds like Eberly Manor is dangerous, and someone else is planning on attacking the governor tonight. She warns us to get out of there as soon as possible.
Well, if someone's attacking the governor, then we would be okay. But it sounds like there's planning for a lot of collateral damage.
Yes. If we can get Aaliyah Brava and get out ASAP, I think that would be best.
But that's unacceptable. There are hundreds of innocents here. They're all guilty. I just met like the funniest jester. I think she was totally into me. But but she has done nothing wrong except for insult everybody that passes by her.
So you're going to try and save the governor?
Well, not the governor.
If we don't know the plan, we can't do much to mitigate it. I think it won't do any good for us to get hit in the crossfires anyway.
This is unacceptable.
Be that as it may, if we can get Aaliyah Brava and get out, I think that would be best.
Real quick, note, Pine, your son is in here.
I know. I mean, I'm not saying that specifically, but yeah.
I could relay a message to your son discreetly for you if you need.
I mean, if we need... damn it.
What if we were to use Thylo to get your son out of here, and then the rest of us try to steer Aaliyah Brava into a place where we can apprehend her and then make a break for it?
If they're anticipating a lot of collateral damage, why don't we just leave her here?
Wouldn't that be a loose end? In stories, if you don't see the character die, they don't die. Sorry.
That's true. That's very true.
Unless it's a dog, they always kill the dog off screen.
That's true. That's true. But people, they have to die on screen for it to stick.
I want Aaliyah Brava. I want the information she has.
I will go and warn your son.
If we warn my son, we warn the adjudicator as well. If we warn the adjudicator, we warn the military presence. He's like glue. He's right by his side. I doubt he can get away very easily, let alone leave the entire party.
Well, do we just stick to our plan then? Let's move quickly.
So out of character, guys,
Yes.
Pine hates this. This is exactly what he was afraid of with teaming up too closely with Fallen Heaven. Because this is, from what it sounds like, this is straight up, don't care about the casualties, terrorism.
Well, this isn't Fallen Heaven.
Well, it's a new cell. It's a different group than Kira's, is what it sounded like.
Yeah, it sounded like Kira was telling you that there's a new group, a new cell of Fallen Heaven that has been planning something for months, and it's happening tonight. And she just found out about it and is telling you. And she did say it should bring down the house.
What if there were people like meeting in the bathhouse that we never really dug into? I wonder if that's related at all.
This is no time for a bath, Ebby.
He's feeling left out. He didn't go last time.
I'm just not as polished as these other ones are. They're so shiny.
Ebby, you look fantastic. Don't think otherwise. But that would also make sense. Apparently it's black market crystal technology, and it would take something big to bring this place down.
Yeah, Pine, you can't help but remember a certain explosion.
Yes.
With crystal tech.
All right, well, I'm going to go introduce myself to Aaliyah.
Who has the poison?
Oh, I don't know if we established.
I think we had mentioned having me do it,
Okay,
but my sleight of hand's only +4.
I could do it.
Maybe if we get enough people sick, they'll go outside to be sick.
Well, I guess let's try it.
So as you guys are getting prepped outside, Bortimer, I kept saying Bortimer. Thank you so much, Jordan. Bortimus he hops down off the carriage and he comes over to you, Nari. He can tell something's up, and he says, "What's the matter? What's going on?"
I just got a message from Kira from Fallen Heaven. It sounds like another faction, another cell has, well, it sounds like they've planned to take down the whole party and everyone in it. So I'm looking to get the guys out as soon as possible.
He looks like aghast. He says, "There's a lot of innocent people in there."
Yes, Pine also mentioned that. I think they're going to try and get as many people out as possible, but I'm not sure who's planning it or what exactly they're planning. So I don't know if stopping it is the best use of our energy at this point.
We have to do something, don't we? I mean, I can't just stand by and know that something's going to happen and all these innocent people are going to get hurt, right?
I guess I don't know what we would do without alerting everyone of the plan, and I don't even know what the plan is. I think that they're planning on poisoning the hors d'oeuvres and trying to get as many people sick as possible, so people leave the building. But I don't know what else we can do.
He says, "What if you and I go try to stop this attack? They continue their work inside to get Aaliyah Brava, and you and I, we go stop this."
This sounds like Paul trying to get me to go down to those catacombs.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But you got Bortimus, who is a Knight of the Red Blossom, who was willing on his honor to fight for Nilla.
I agree. I mean, we can at least check it out and see if we can find someone who's in charge of this caper and see what we can discover.
Okay. All right, let's go. Let them know that we will we'll be away from the carriage.
All right, I'll relay that to the guys and let them know that we're going to go try to figure out a little bit more information about what's going on and see what we can discover.
If they're planning to bring down the building, they'd have to put something in the catacombs underneath.
Yes.
It's a good thing we have those maps.
We're going to have to go to the catacombs, I think.
Mortimer says, do you know how to get to the catacombs underneath Eberly Manor?
Yes, yeah, we got a map from the library, so we should have an idea of how to get down there. You know, there's an entrance obviously over in the park, so we should hurry.
Okay. Yes, let's go now. And he rushes back over because he was with you guys in the park in the catacombs before. Let's see here. All right, back up to the party. What's everyone doing?
Joph is going to poison the food.
All right, so you got 2 tables full of these hors d'oeuvres and things. You're just going to start dumping. I think you have 2 vials of poison, right?
Yeah, we got 2 vials.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to focus on the drinks. I think that would be probably the easiest to discreetly pour something into.
Okay.
And, I could play it off like I'm just adding, alcohol into the juice sort of thing.
All right, yeah. So you kind of wander over to the table where there's all these goblets and glasses set up, full of different liquors and wine and that kind of thing. Why don't you go and make a sleight of hand check as you attempt to poison people at a party?
All right. So Joph got a 24 on sleight of hand.
All right. Let me do a quick check here. All right. The only person you might have noticed ended up rolling a natural 1. So as you go to start pouring this poison in and earn your new nickname, Roofy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Roofy. Oh.
It is a nice combination of Roos and Joph, though.
Oh, it is. It
true.
is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you actually you pour this into the drinks, no problem at all. And before you know it, you have an empty vial in your hand that you kind of tuck back into your pocket, and you have 1 more vial of poison.
Now, did I get all of the drinks, or is that?
You got the vast majority of the drinks, yes.
Okay. Should we double dose it? Should I pour the other one in to make it even stronger?
Well, there's another table. Are there drinks on both tables?
There are drinks on both tables, yes.
Okay, I'll go to the other table and I'll do the same.
Yeah, and as you do this, you realize that there's no way that you can get poison into every drink for every person in here. Of
course.
It will still be a small percentage. Make another sleight of hand check.
Okay. I got a 20 that time.
Oh. And a 9 to spot you, plus some modifiers. It's still not going to be a 20. All right, perfect. So then as you walk over to the other table, you kind of, I'm guessing you kind of grab a drink for yourself and kind of, you're kind of looking at different drinks and you poison them and you grab one for yourself that's not poisoned. And there you go. You now have poisoned drinks now here at this party.
I will then so I'll have 1 for me. And I will have Ebby grab 2 more poisoned ones and bring them with me as I go and introduce myself to Aaliyah and Sonara.
All right. Pine, what are you doing?
Pine is watching his son very closely. He's moving around the dance floor, but he's looking at Temrid, trying to figure out a way to get him out of here should things go south.
You can see that he is he's joining in conversation. Like Ulrich is, you can hear his like laugh. It's a big booming laugh, and Temrid is standing kind of behind him just a little bit. He joins in with the laughter. Every once in a while, Ulrich will kind of turn back towards Temrid and ask him a question or say something, and they'll have a little laugh, and then he'll turn back around. But you can tell that Temrid is definitely kind of seen as at this point the servant of adjudicator Ulrich. It seems like, as you're watching, it seems like Temrid is enjoying himself. You don't think he's actually noticed you yet.
Well, because my disguise is hella tight.
Yeah, exactly. Bird bones, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then, Ebby, what are you
hollow.
doing? Yeah, they are hollow.
Ebby's just going to kind of play along with Joph, carry the drinks over to Aaliyah and Sonara.
All right. So, Joph, you and Ebby wander on over to Aaliyah Brava. She is just finishing up talking with somebody else, and she kind of, well, tell your wife that I miss her at our get-togethers. And then she kind of touches his shoulder and kind of rubs it just a little bit inappropriately. And then the man turns around and walks away. As she turns and looks at you, Joph, she says, "Oh, hello there, Aaliyah Brava," and she holds her hand up for you to kiss.
I will kiss her hand and introduce myself as Simon of House Teagish from Barrister.
She says, "Oh, how fascinating. We don't get many people here from Barrister."
Yes, I gathered that much, and then I'll look to Sonara and say, "Thank you again for helping me get into this fine party. I've been able to make some acquaintances as we spoke of yesterday."
She, I don't know if you recall, but she had kind of a look, like a knowing look. She gives you that same knowing look, and she says, "Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I'm glad that you could join us." And then she turns to Aaliyah and she says, "If you'll excuse me, miss, I need to excuse myself." And then she actually leaves the conversation and heads kind of off in the direction of kind of where the servants are going as they enter and exit from the ballroom. So you are left alone with Aaliyah Brava.
Oh, super sus.
I know, right? I'll say to Aaliyah, "Well, I brought drinks for two lovely ladies, but apparently there's only one of you now. Ebby, would you hand this fine lady her drink?"
Affirmative.
Oh my gosh. That's perfect. Okay. You hand Aaliyah a drink and she says, "Oh, well, thank you very much." And then she holds it up. She says, "What are we toasting?"
"To finding old friends."
She kind of looks at you and says, "Yes, okay, to finding old friends." And she clinks your glass and then she takes a drink.
I'll take a drink of mine as well.
Okay. So, what brings you here from Barrister?
I am looking to make some investments and perhaps move my wealth here where I'd have more opportunities with the Empire. I think that's the way of the future.
I think you'll find that's true. I feel like if you throw in your hat with the Empire, you can't lose.
I feel like that's what's happening around the world at this point, and I want to be earlier jumping onto the game than later.
Do you think that the Empire is going to make moves on Barrister?
Perhaps eventually, but I'd like to have myself well established with them before that even happens, before it's even a thought in their mind.
Yes, I think that is a wise choice. And then she kind of just kind of has a pleasant conversation with you. She keeps she'll reach out and she'll touch your shoulder and laugh at your jokes a little bit, put her hand on your hand, that kind of thing. And I mean, she's a very attractive woman. Ebby, what are you doing as Joph is having this little conversation?
I mean, I guess Ebby's just kind of standing there. He may take a couple steps just slightly back so he's not right in the mix of it all.
Okay.
And using Squire kind of under his breath, he wants to send a message to Joph and kind of pose a question and say, "I don't know if this is the right venue or time, but I could attempt to try and charm her and get her to leave the room with us."
Joph will turn to Ebby and kind of pat him on the shoulder and say, These deacons seem to malfunction occasionally, but I think they're worth their money." And I'll nod my head to him.
She says, "I'm surprised that you already have one. I mean, as far as I've been able to tell, only people from Almar have them here in the city. I haven't even been able to find one for myself yet."
Call it a bit of good luck and a bit of gambling.
So you're a gambler?
I more often than not gamble with my life than with my money, but it works out for me.
Very interesting. You'll have to tell me some of your stories sometime.
I'm sure we'll be able to get more acquainted in the very near future.
All right. So is Ebby going to try something at this point? Was that the message that Joph gave you?
I feel like if I go for it, we're like totally going to get outed as trying to manipulate her.
Joph, make a quick perception check. Ebby, you can make one too.
Okay.
Okay.
Man, my dice are on fire tonight. I got a 26.
Nice.
And Ebby rolled a 21.
And Pine, why don't you make a roll too for perception?
Man, it's a good night to get good rolls, guys.
Pine got another 9.
My
Another
goodness,
Pine.
Pine.
Pine, you just kind of keep watching your son. You keep like looking around the room, trying to kind of keep things on track, but your eyes keep wandering back to your son.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Pine has actually wandered back over toward one of the tables. He'll pick up a drink, knowing not to drink it, but he's just trying to be close to Thylo.
Okay.
Sorry, did I? Thylo is blue, like Phthalo blue. Is that the naming convention there?
That is a totally no, I'm not that smart. no, it was Milo with a TH. Like that's how it came to be.
All right, happy accident. Happy little accident.
That is a happy little accident with your Phthalo blue, yes.
All right, so that's what he's doing. I mean, he's holding a drink, he's not even making small talk anymore. He's just kind of watching, trying to look like he's just watching the dancing, but he's keeping everybody kind of head on a swivel.
Yeah. As you are kind of doing that, Thylo actually walks up behind you and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, excuse me, sir, is there anything that you need?
Yeah, yes, that's, come with me. I need to freshen up a little bit.
Of course, sir.
And so Pine will head toward kind of maybe just like a more secluded corner of the ballroom to fill Thylo in on what's going on. He won't tell him like, oh, do you want to role play this or what?
No, you can say whatever. We got a lot going on and we're going to jump back over to Nari here real soon too.
He's not saying anything like the manor's about to blow up, but he is saying like there might be a new wrinkle. Keep your eye on Ebby and Joph because they are currently talking with Aaliyah Brava, and we may need to get her out quickly.
Okay.
And I may not come with you.
Well, yeah, that he will say, well, okay, where will you go?
Like I said, there's another wrinkle. There's another player on the board. But don't worry, your mission is still the same. If we need you to get anybody out, we will call on you to get them out.
Of course. Okay. I'm ready when you are. And then he leans in close and says, I'm ready to get out of here. I don't belong here.
Neither do I.
Okay. So, going back to Ebby and Joph, you guys both notice as you're kind of talking with Aaliyah, you see people are starting to kind of grab their stomachs a little bit. You see people kind of excusing themselves. You see one person kind of walk over and just throw up right into a plant. And Aaliyah takes notice as well. And one thing you guys also notice, Joph especially, is that she is not affected whatsoever.
Damn it.
That snaky bitch, she's probably immune to poison.
I didn't even think of that. But I did notice Paul made a roll when I handed her the drink and he got a really high roll. And I was like, damn it, that's her constitution save.
Well, actually, that roll was kind of... that was for something else. No, Aaliyah Brava is she's basically a Yuan-Ti pureblood, and they are immune to poison. Yes. Okay. So people are starting to get sick, and we are jumping back over to Nari and Bortimus. Okay, Nari, you and Bortimus go tearing through the park back to that garden shed where you can get down into the crypts underneath the park. And what is going to happen is you guys go into the park, you go into the shed, you tear open the trapdoor, you go down those stairs, and you get back down into the hallway that is now choked with roots and vegetation, thanks to Ebby's plant growth spell.
Rutabagas and turnips.
Vegetation, not vegetables. I did try to catch myself. All right.
Yeah, so as we get down to the catacombs and I can't see, I am definitely going to cast my light spell so I am able to see on myself, so I can do a 20-foot radius.
All right, yeah. So you get back down into the catacombs that you were just in a couple days ago. These roots have now filled up this space. It's hard going to get through this hallway. You do manage to get through, but it takes a long time. And as you and Bortimus kind of stumble out into this kind of more open area, if you recall a couple of weeks ago when we were playing, there was this room that had sarcophagi that you guys kept kicking the sarcophagi and taking lids off, trying to wake up the dead.
And robbing.
Yeah. Did we finally succeed?
As Nari, as you and Bortimus stumble into this room, there are 2 undead here in this room, and we are going to roll initiative for the 2 of you.
All right, Nari rolled a 12.
All right. As you guys stumble out into this room, you see these 2 undead, and they both look familiar. Not like you recognize the specific people, but you recognize these types of undead. One of them is like a zombie, but he's wearing armor. He's got a sword. It looks like he moves faster than a normal zombie would. The other one looks similar, but he is wearing a robe. And as you enter in, they both look at you and point. And quick on the draw, Bortimus rushes forward to attack the wight who is wearing armor, and he's going to make 2 attacks with his longsword. And he is going to hit 1 time, and he is going to deal 10 damage to the wight. All right, that brings us to Nari.
All right, Nari will go up to the other enemy, and she will swing with her great axe, 17 to hit.
That will hit.
For 12 damage.
Okay.
And then hit again for 8 to hit. Except that's a 1, so...
That's a 1, so that will miss anyway.
Well, don't I get to reroll the ones?
You only get to reroll your damage if it's a 1.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
Halflings get to reroll their 1s. All right. Now it is these bad guys' turn. It looks like the wight with the sword is going to attack back at Sir Bortimus twice. And it looks like he misses both times with a 13 and a 5. And then the other one is going to step towards you, Nari, and he's going to attempt to do the life drain attack on you again with a natural 1. So it misses. Okay.
Get out.
That brings us back to the top. It is Bortimus's turn. He's going to take 2 attacks real quick against the same guy. The first one is a miss with a 9, but the second one is a natural 20. So he is going to deal 15 damage with one of these hits to this wight. And Nari, it is your turn.
She will go again with her axe here. A nat 20 to hit.
Oh, perfect.
So that was 8 damage. So that ends up being...
It looks like you rolled a 4 plus 4.
Yeah.
So that'd be 4 times 2 plus 4. It should be 12 if my math is correct. Okay, so that's 12 damage.
That was not great. And then we'll roll again for 22 to hit and another 12 damage. So
another 12 damage.
I'm consistent.
You are consistent. That's great. And you knock this guy down. He crumples to the ground barely, but you got him. And now this the wight with the sword and the armor is going to strike back at Sir Bortimus 2 times. And he is going to hit with the second swing, and he is going to deal... Oh, Sir Bortimus takes 10 damage. And that brings us back up to Sir Bortimus, who is going to attack back. And he misses both times with a 9 and with a natural 1. Nari, it's your turn. Oh, but Sir Bortimus, as he's swinging, he says, "We don't have time for this."
Nari will run up and help him out here with her great axe again. 13 to hit.
That is not enough.
Okay. And then she'll try again. 10 to hit.
Okay, now this time the wight is going to take one attack against you and one attack against Bortimus. So against Bortimus, it is a 12. That's a miss. And against you, it is a natural 1. It's another miss. All right. And that brings us back up to Bortimus. 2 attacks. And 17 and 17. 2 hits. And he is going to deal... Oh, man. He's going to deal 4 plus 5 is 9 damage from his 2 hits. And... it is now Nari's turn. Go ahead, Nari.
All right. Nari's going to try to finish this guy off. Oh my gosh. 11 to hit and 14 to hit.
The 14 hits.
Okay. 10 damage.
And just like that, this guy goes down as well.
I'm just gonna say, let's get out of here, man. Like we gotta hurry.
Yeah. All right. He says, yeah, lead the way. Because you have the map.
Wait, you're not going to loot the bodies? I'm kidding.
We don't have time for that.
All right. Okay, cool. As you guys, as Nari and Bortimus move deeper into the crypt, we are going to jump back up to the ballroom.
You cut to Pine having a conversation with somebody. It's like, funny, ballroom is actually the first thing I look for when buying a new pair of underwear.
Oh my goodness.
I should tell that word to the jester. I think she'd like that.
The guy says, you're funnier than the jester. Joph, you're talking with Aaliyah. You see people starting to get sick. Not everybody, but enough. And you can see, let me make another roll real quick. Okay, yeah. At one point, you're kind of looking around the room and you see the Governor Tenor. He is this well-dressed man. He starts to get kind of like clutching at his stomach, and he kind of like rubs his chest a little bit, and then he leans over and throws up all over the floor. And he has now been poisoned. You see the older lady with the short white hair who has that military bearing. She is instantly right next to him, putting her hand on his shoulder, and then she like kind of like forces him down to his knees so he can kind of like catch his breath. And she's whispering something in his ear as she looks around the room, and she puts her hand like on her rapier that she wears at her waist. You'd see that Ulrich, the adjudicator, he is still laughing boisterously, but he glances over at the governor and he notices something is wrong as well. And he takes like 3 quick strides over to the governor as well. People are starting to notice that something doesn't seem right.
Joph is going to jokingly say to Aaliyah, I think the chef might get fired today.
She says, oh, why would you say that? And then she looks around and she sees people like getting sick. And she's like, Oh, no.
It appears he may not have cooked something well enough.
If you'll excuse me, please. And then she actually starts to leave the conversation. As she leaves the ballroom, Pine, she actually ends up walking right by you. You can see in her face that she has a concerned look in her eyes. So she is about to leave the ballroom from the south door, where you have seen servants come and go. What does everybody want to do at this exact moment?
Just a second. I need to look up the description of a spell.
Okay. Compel duel?
No.
Ebby is going to start heading that direction as well. He's just going to be straight up following her, basically.
Okay.
I'll follow too.
I have a spell. It's called Paralyzing Shout, but it's the same as Hold Person. And it doesn't say anything specifically about if they make the save, if they know that the spell was cast. I'm assuming that as soon as I say something or start to cast a spell, she will know, right?
Possibly. Tell you what I'll do. I'll make her make an Arcana check.
That's if I decide to do that. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's really risky.
Philo sees you guys all starting to move to follow her, and he kind of perks up off the wall, and he kind of takes a couple steps forward, seeing that things are happening. She is about to leave the room.
I'm kind of okay with her getting out of the main room, because when I try to cast a spell on her, which I'm planning on doing here shortly, I don't want to be near an adjudicator when that happens.
Got
it.
Okay. Let's. So as Ebby and I are walking, following her, I'll say, let's get into the other room. And as soon as we're in the other room, you do your thing.
Sounds like a plan.
Pine will say to Nari via Squire, I really hope you can stop what's going on down there. And he will kind of motion to Thilo to also follow, but we'll follow just a little bit after Joph and Ebby.
Aaliyah Brava leaves the ballroom and enters into a hallway. on the other side of the door. What I'm going to need, there is a guard standing here at the doorway. And as Aaliyah walks through, he kind of nods to her, kind of a little bow. And as Joph, as you start to approach, and Ebby, especially as you are kind of coming in, he kind of puts up his hand and he says, he holds up his hand and he says, "Halt, only authorized personnel are allowed beyond this door."
It's all right. This whole kingdom is mine, and I'll just keep walking. I'm just kidding. I don't say that.
Ebby will actually say, "You fool, don't you see that someone has poisoned the governor? We need to go and investigate this. You should go to check to make sure he's okay."
Make a persuasion check.
Strong words from a deacon.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a persuasive person. A 5.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, though, that really was a good line.
Well, you know, it was a great line. Why don't you make it with advantage? Let's just see what happens.
Okay. I will gladly accept that. A 9.
A 9.
Super great.
It's
All
almost
right.
twice as good.
But it came out as like beep boop wolves. So
Oh man, yeah. Aaliyah is through the door. The guard is stopping you at the door. He's not going to let you go through, Ebby. He doesn't have like his sword out or anything like that, but he's just like, no, only authorized personnel beyond this point.
Joph will say, "This one is with me. He's my servant, and we're going through."
Are you going to try to intimidate?
No. Let me say it a different way. We are allowed here. Don't you recognize me? And I'll just like walk past him without like stopping, just like ignoring him.
Jedi mind tricking him.
We'll call that an intimidate check. I will give that to you
I
with
was
advantage.
thinking like deception though, like
Oh, deception. Okay, fine. That's fine.
saying like I belong here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, with advantage.
I rolled an 18 on that.
Okay. Let's see. And he rolled a natural 1, so he kind of course, sir. And then he kind of steps out of your way. Pine and Thyla, you guys are going to follow as well, right?
Totally.
Okay, Pine. So you see Joph and Ebby follow Aaliyah Brava out of the ballroom.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll just wait a beat, and then we'll also, I'll lead, and hopefully Thyla will follow me as well.
Yeah, he's right behind you.
Okay, we'll go through the door.
He says, "Oh, no, authorized personnel only."
Oh, well, Miss Brava invited us to the orgy. I think this is the way, right? Just saw her leave.
Make a deception check.
It's a 13.
It's a 13. Well, let's see. He was not very good before. He rolled a 5. You can see his cheeks blush, and he's like, "Oh, of course, sir." And then he kind of lets you follow. All right.
Nothing like an old man in a bird costume at the orgy.
Every orgy needs an old man in a bird costume.
Honestly, he just watches.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, that's so funny.
They don't have any blue pills in Pavantis?
Gosh. All right.
Just give it a bit. It'll kick in.
Oh my gosh. Let's stop right there.
Okay, there goes our clean rating.
Awesome. Back down into the catacombs. The catacombs are very confusing, even for me, and I have a hard time keeping all of the maps straight. But I'm fairly certain that I know where you are.
Speaking of which, I wanted to verify, is like this circular staircase D, is that what goes up to Eberly Manor?
No, see, you're looking at the maps. So I've already given you guys the maps. So I've already given you guys the maps. That circular staircase actually goes further down. Okay. That's actually goes down into what they call the Arkelvy Abyss. And so what you're going to end up needing to do is going back kind of the way that you initially came in to the catacombs. So if you remember, you came into the Tomb of the Ten Maidens, and then you went down through that secret ladder. You basically have to backtrack where you've already been. And then there's a turn that you have to make that you didn't make your first time through here. But we're kind of playing this kind of like flash, like flash up to what's going on up above, and then flash down here to you guys. And since you already have the maps, I'm not going to make you navigate. I assume that since you have the maps, you're going to know which way to go. Okay.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
All right, Bortimus and Nari, as you guys come rushing back through the same way that you guys came, you go down these stairs into a room that you kind of recognize. This is, last time you guys were here in the catacombs, this was an area that you guys spent just a little bit of time in. As you come rushing down these stairs into another room full of sarcophagi, you see there's a staircase down to the south, and it heads further down into the catacombs. You know that is the direction you need to go. But if you guys recall here, this direction over here, this is where you guys came out of the secret hallway. There's a ladder down here that goes right up into the chamber of the Wilted Rose. But now you know from the maps that you need to go down these stairs. In your way, you see 3 skeletons and 1 more white. And we are going to roll initiative again.
All right, Nari got an 18. I'll kind of turn to Bortimus and say we might be able to just kind of, run past them since we need to go over here to the left.
Nari got an 18. And Bortimus got an 8. The skeletons got an 11. And the white that's in here got a 16. All right, that brings us to Nari, you're up. You can see that there are 3 skeletons. One of them is kind of blocking the staircase that you need to go into. And then the other 2 skeletons and the white are more in the middle of this chamber.
Yeah, so I am going to run down to the south where that other skeleton is.
Okay.
And kind of stand by the staircase and then swing at him. Basically, my goal is to just get down and not necessarily try to fight. So 24 to hit with 13 damage.
That is enough. You crumple the skeleton. He crumbles underneath the weight of your blow.
Sweet. And then I will yell back to Sir Bortimus, and I will let him know, just, kind of hurry. Let's run down these stairs.
He says, yeah, you don't need to tell me twice. And he comes running down past you as well and rushes down the stairs into the next area of the catacombs that now, Nari, you are going completely by map. You have never been this deep into the catacombs before. Well, up above, we have everyone seems to be getting sick in the ballroom. Our heroes have left the ballroom to follow Aaliyah Brava into a hallway that we have yet to see. But that will have to wait until next time as Nari and Sir Bortimus are racing their way through the catacombs, trying to stop whatever kind of attack is about to happen at Eberly Manor. We will pick this up next time. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We have had a great time of improvising your way through some social interactions, as well as clobbering some skeletons and some whites. And next time we get together, we'll see just how easy it is to subdue Aaliyah Brava.
Paul's going to bring the house down.
Until then, have a great time.